Welcome back to the Black Health Lit podcast. This is a space where we can be Black, proud, and healthy. As a reminder, the information shared here is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. While you're here, check out the episode description to learn more about today's guest and shop Black, Proud, Healthy merch. When you shop merch, you're helping to support future episodes and free health education for the Black Health Lit community. Lastly, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode. Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Introducing L'Amour Lifestyle Public Relations, the experts in media relations. With a track record of success, their clients have been featured in Essence Magazine, News 12, Fox 45, and many more. Whether you're aiming for national recognition or local visibility, their team will craft the perfect strategy to elevate your brand. From Houston Chronicles to Good Morning Washington, they've got you covered. Contact L'Amour Public Relations today and let them help you make headlines. Visit www.lamourlifestylepr.com to learn more. Hello, Jason White. Welcome to the Black Health Lit podcast. Before we jump into today's conversation, can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Rachel. I really appreciate, you taking the time or whatever have you to allow me to be here and talk about whatever topics you would like to discuss today. I'm sure it's going to be wide ranging, but I'm Dr. Jason White. I'm a associate professor of kinesiology at Northern Kentucky University. I'm also the undergraduate and graduate program director for exercise science department here at the university, as well as the community lab coordinator. So a couple of hats here at the university. Still do a lot of research for the university on sports and athletic performance, as well as load monitoring and things of that nature. Still consult with a variety of different universities and the U.S. Olympics for performance and helping decide who represents the United States at international competition. And most of all, most proud dad of a 6-year-old Jace legend, who's 6 years old and ripping and running around with his cousins right now.
That is awesome. So, Jason, you said you are very involved at the university with exercise physiology.
Uh-huh.
And when people hear that term, they may not understand because we hear exercise separately and then we hear physiology, usually next to anatomy and physiology. Mm-hmm. So can you explain what exercise physiology is?
Well, when you perform exercise and activity, your body responds acutely to that exercise and activity, and it changes how the body functions to be able to keep up with that exercise and activity. We all know some people who are in great shape. You go out, you go for a run with them, they can go run forever. You know others who cannot.
Yeah.
You can't walk around the block without issues. So it's just understanding the difference between those two types of individuals. How they want to adapt and why is one person lacking adaptation to exercise and activity. So we teach that to students and use it as a base to understand, the benefits of exercise, physical activity. We incorporate nutrition with that. We prepare a lot of students in the realm of physical therapy, athletic training. We actually get a lot of students at the undergraduate level who go on to med school and utilize this training to have a more holistic approach or whatever have you, and have a better understanding of the body and how it responds to physical activity, the outcomes to acute training and physical activity versus chronic adaptation to long-term physical activity, and how the body changes in those cases. We also have a focus also on anaerobic and resistance training, weight training, and things like that. And like I said, it's going to be an incorporation of nutrition in that as well, how important nutrition is to having a healthy lifestyle and continue to grow muscle and build over time and things of that nature. So it's really all encompassing. It's kind of like biology, linked with exercise, mixed with physical activity, and you're gonna sprinkle in some chemistry and some physics and some other things in there as well. So it's a more deeper science than a lot of people understand. And the term exercise physiology with the term exercise being the preface to that is going to throw some people off, but it's very, very scientific.
Okay. That's a good explanation. And to simplify it, it's how our bodies move, how our bodies respond to resistance and motion and mobility and all of that. Is that a simple way to put it?
Yeah, how your body works. Physiology is how the body works,
Okay.
basically. How your body works. Why can I move my arm? Why can I
Mm-hmm.
flex the muscle? How the body works. And then you just add exercise to it. So instead of human phys, a lot of people, like you said, anatomy and physiology, you took anatomy with human physiology, was just general function of the body. So
Right.
exercise physiology gets into the function of the body, not only general function, but as well as the response to exercise and activity.
Okay. And you mentioned nutrition. I tell people all the time, you cannot outrun your plate. Would you say if is there one that's more, because people like quick fixes. Is
Mm.
nutrition or exercise more important? Or is it an and thing? And I know you probably get that a lot.
Yeah, you get it a lot. And you wanna build a lifetime of healthy habits. If I'm very, very honest with you and completely 100% honest with you, even though I'm biased, I would lean towards nutrition.
Okay.
And I say that with a heavy heart. But at the same time, exercise is very important, and individuals who have better health outcomes tend to have great diets and physical activity incorporated at a high level in their life.
Right.
So they go hand in hand. But if you had to pick only one, if that's what you're making me do, to pick only one, I'm going to tell you to make sure you have a great, great, great diet if you're going to avoid exercise and physical activity.
Okay.
At the same time, poor nutrition, poor diet, you cannot make up with it with great physical activity either.
No.
So make sure you should have both, and they go hand in hand in terms of having a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. I think that I agree with that. Like I said, I tell people you cannot outrun your plate. I think both are important. With nutrition too, we have to eat, right? We must eat. You will not be alive if you just stop eating forever. So if you can make adjustments on something that you literally have to do, that seems like that would be the easier choice, as long as you have access and can afford it, and all the other things that impact what foods you have access to. So when it also comes to nutrition, I know people probably toy with diets a lot of TikTok diets, Instagram diets.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on dieting versus just a balanced meal similar to like My Plate, which is the recommendation by the government?
Well, I think we're very individualized rather. I don't think everything works for everyone,
Okay.
and you have to find what works for you. Um, you know, a lot of research that is done and a lot of research that comes out is on a single demographic. It's not widely studied, for example, in a predominantly black demographic. So a lot of research is not done on predominantly African American, predominantly black people, however you want to, qualify yourself. But so the research is not done on you. So you don't get a lot of information about how a diet affects you. You don't get enough information about that. So different foods and things of that nature and their impact on your health is not well studied. So you never know what's going to work. Something that works for what you see a celebrity on TV or what you see in a lot of these diets are just, we call them sham diets. They're scams, whatever have you. Consistency, dedication, focus, what you eat, when you eat, and the timing of what you're eating, all of that matters significantly. And we're all going to be somewhat different. We all respond a little bit differently to the same types
Right.
of foods. So you
Right.
have to be cognizant of that. And it takes a lot of dedication for some individuals to be able to successfully eat healthy and to get results from a diet plan. So I mean, it's very, very complex. And I think you can't minimize the field of nutrition and oversimplify things. You hear people say, it's calories in, calories out. No, it's more complex than that. That's a simple way to start to look at things, but it's way more complex.
I appreciate that answer, because a lot we do try to oversimplify, and we want everything like popcorn microwaved. Give me step 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm gonna have this super duper beautiful summer body with a snatched waist and abs and pecs, and it's
Yeah,
individualized, basically, is what you're saying.
yeah, it's very individual. It's based on your genetics. if you had two parents who ran track at a Power Five university, you're probably going to have the body of two parents who ran track at a Power
Yeah.
Five university. And then if you had two obese parents, there's nothing you can do that's going to likely get you to being looking like somebody who ran track at a Power Five university. I'm not saying
Right.
it's impossible, but I'm just saying it's highly less likely. The majority of these outcomes that we see are based on genetics. That's the most influential factor in what you see
Yeah.
in front of the mirror. So
I can
sometimes it's
speak
hard to
to that
overcome
from
those things.
personal experience too. I feel like for personal experience, I have my dad's side body. Like they're very muscular and like not necessarily slim, but like just dense people. Compact, like dense, petite people. And I am very dense. Like we even had like we got muscles in our face. Like you could probably see. It's like that's from my grandfather. And some of those muscles, like when I was a baby, I started walking at 9 months.
Okay.
And my mom said I literally was in the living room. I've been independent since I was a baby, but she
Okay.
said I was in the living room and I just stood up, and she was like, and my little chunky baby legs were so muscular, and I just started walking across the room like, all right, I think I'm gonna walk now. And it's
There we
like
go.
that is
There we
from
go.
my dad's side.
Yeah. Time to go. Nothing wrong with
Uh-huh. And my
it.
grandfather on my dad's side was 80 something when he died, strong as an ox.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Oh man.
Yeah. And that's what we hope for. We hope those genes get passed along. And hopefully that he died of natural causes, and
Yep.
there weren't any other issues, because good genes get passed along and bad genes get passed along.
Yes.
That predispose you to certain conditions, that predispose you to weight gain, that predispose you to heart disease and things of that nature. So, cancers or whatever have you. So you want
Yeah.
to, hopefully that only the good genes get passed along and everybody's nice and healthy. But nutrition, once again, can help counter effect some of those negative genes that are passed along. Trying to
Yeah.
eat right, trying to have healthy things in your diet will avoid other carcinogens, other things that may factor in negative outcomes from the genes that you receive. So you really want to be very, very focused on what you eat and what you're putting in your body. You see people eating red 40 and blue 6 and yellow 7, and those aren't foods.
No.
You don't want to put those things in your body. You don't want to have those. You want to avoid trans fats. You want to,
Yes.
and things of that nature. These are things that really in 2024 we need to make sure that we're educating our people so they understand that you should not be putting these types of things in your body at this point in time in your life, especially as adults, or any
Yeah.
point in time. Certain foods that we see predispose children to negative outcomes. There's certain foods that we see lead to higher incidences of certain diseases and conditions.
Yep.
And it's things that we got to bring this awareness to our population so they can make educated decisions. I'm not
Yeah.
telling you to eat like a mouse, or and not indulge on occasion, but just to be able to make general wise decisions throughout your life,
Right.
so you can avoid negative outcomes, and have a little short-term sacrifice for long-term great outcomes.
Right. I agree with that. Meal prepping can help with that.
Oh yeah.
Also, I just had a conversation with a guy who his focus is food systems, and we talked a lot about going to the farmers market in the summer to get fresh produce. Produce is so important, and you talk about the negative health outcomes, but in addition to like the heart disease, diabetes, obesity, I personally, and you can speak to this from a scientific background, I personally notice a difference in my mood. So if I go on vacation and I'm letting it rip, I'm eating steak. Look, I need it Oscar style.
Yeah.
I'm eating it all. I am indulging, okay? And then I come back from vacation and my mood is just a little lower than if I'm eating my standard diet of throughout the week, where I eat a lot of salad, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, smoothies. I don't have a perfect diet. I like a little bit of junk food sprinkled in there,
Right.
but for the most part, is lean meat, veggies, and produce, and I can just tell my mood shoots up
Yeah.
when I'm eating like that. Like I'm enjoying the heavy food when I eat it, but then my mood goes down. Does that make sense from a scientific background
Yeah, for
or
sure. I
perspective?
mean, when you think about what you just mentioned in terms of lean meats, and vegetables and produce, you're talking about a lot of vitamins, a lot of minerals that you normally are taking in that help with normal bodily function, normal cellular function, with energy production and things of that nature. B vitamins and things of that nature, very, very important for energy production. And then you go out and you're on a cruise or you're on the beach or whatever have you, and the food is prepared for you and gallons of oil, and it doesn't contain fresh produce or
Yeah.
whatever have you, and things that of that nature. Your body is missing those things. Your body is missing those things, and you may also be exacerbating things with alcohol consumption, I'd imagine.
On
Like a lot of
vacation,
people,
yes.
yeah, you know, which has, just terrible effects on the body and how the body works and things of that nature. It's one of the worst things you just do. So it's always in moderation. It's no good alcohol consumption, but you very much got to take alcohol in moderation. It does have so many just detrimental effects to the body,
Yeah.
from hormone levels to hemoglobin levels to potential for heart issues, liver issues. I mean, we can go down the list with
Yeah.
alcohol and do over the long run. But back to diet, when you're having that healthy diet that's consistent, it's probably, first of all, not taking you over your caloric threshold. You're probably more considerate of how many calories you're taking in.
Ah.
You're also probably more considerate when you eat. And I know if I go into all inclusive, it's free food all day. Let me try that. Let me try that. Furthermore, you're probably taking in a lot of sweet and sugary foods that's going to have a
Yes.
major effect on your blood glucose levels, lead to glucose spikes and fluctuations and things of that nature. And then, like I said, in terms of your whole produce and fresh food intake with your vitamins and the minerals that help with your normal cellular function, your normal body function, your energy production, you're
Yeah.
probably not doing that. Like you said, you're having a steak Oxford style. They're cooking that steak. It's
Yep.
delicious. Don't get me wrong. I love a steak. You preach it to the choir.
I do too.
But I mean, I had to cut back significantly, especially on eating out with steaks and how they're prepared,
Yeah.
as well. Sometimes you see some research that says the preparation of a steak with the searing on the grill and the charring of the steak, may be a
Yep.
little bit carcinogenic, and that's a little bit debatable,
Mm-hmm.
but still, you don't want anything that's potentially carcinogenic going in your body. Like, so a lot of times I cook a steak, I use
Yep.
my, I use my Instapot sous vide, a little uppity, but go ahead and sous vide the steak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit, just depends, but preparation of food, once again, can influence the nutrients that you take in, is the point I'm trying to make. The
Right.
mode of preparation, along with the butter and the oil that they're cooking it in a lot of these sites, so that they're trying to make it so you
Mm-hmm.
like and enjoy the taste. So they're not preparing the healthiest
Yep.
methods. So it's a lot of things that go into that. So you're absolutely correct. If you're paying attention to your body will tell you what's going on, and the body speaks to you.
It will.
Once it gets in your body speaks to you all the way till it comes out of your body. So you should pay
Yep.
attention the entire time. You should pay attention the entire time. Your body speaks to
Yeah.
you. What's going on the entire time? Like I said, once you put it in your body speaks to you. Energy levels, how you the lethargy, you know, uh,
Yep.
mood, all the way till it exits your body. In terms of in that bowel movement, it tells you
Yeah.
something all the way through.
Yeah. Speaking of bowel movements, I just
All
had a
the way down.
conversation. Me speak. You said what?
All right, we're going there. Let's go.
We're going there because it's part of health, right?
Yeah, very much so.
And
Very much so.
because I run into people and they're like, "Oh, the Black Health Lit girl." Sometimes people talk to me about stuff I don't even want to know, and bowel movements is one of them. A lot of people are not having bowel movements daily, and that is alarming to me. What are you when you say the food coming in and exiting? Should people be having bowel movements like immediately after eating, once a day, twice a day? Is there a number of times people should have bowel movements per day?
Well, it's going to vary based on how much food you take in. It's going to vary on on the how active your digestive tract is. So it's going to be some variance there.
Okay.
You generally want to see one a day.
Okay.
And if you're seeing zero over a certain amount of time, either you're not eating or something's going on. That's not a good thing to not have them. You want regularity as well.
Yeah.
If you take it one or two a day, that's fine, but you really want regularity as well. And there's a lot of food that you can help with getting that regularity. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't get enough fiber in their diet. A lot of people don't know what fiber is. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know how to attain that. Foods that they can eat. They don't know the different types of fiber in terms of
Yeah.
soluble and insoluble fiber that you can get. So, like I said, this is, things that our people need to know, the importance of fiber and the role that it plays. And fiber plays so many roles, so many healthy, beneficial roles in the body.
Yeah.
You really should have a high amount of fiber in your diet and know how to attain it. And, you get insoluble fiber from things like corn and other legumes that you can consume,
Right.
but you also can get forms of soluble fiber in some of the, I go to the store and I don't buy normal pasta.
Okay.
I buy the protein fiber pasta, for
Mm.
example, to make sure I get enhanced fiber in my diet. And they also have fiber additives. I mean, you can go get Metamucil or something of that nature. Like you can get some
Yeah.
good fiber. I don't know if you want that, but I mean, but if you're at a deficit of fiber and you're trying to find a cheaper route to make sure you get it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But and instead of using typical white processed noodles, in my spaghetti and things like that, I go to a lot of protein fiber backed noodles instead that are made out of
Yeah.
maybe chickpeas or something of that nature, instead of your typical processed flour noodles in the meals that I create. And there's a couple good brands out there in your Kroger or wherever your grocery store, Wegmans or whatever
Mm-hmm.
you do, whatever you have that sells some good, very good protein fiber pasta to help enhance your fiber and protein intake throughout your diet. And you're really not changing anything because
Right.
once you put the pasta and the sauce and the marinara, whatever you want to do with that spaghetti,
Yep.
you won't notice the difference if you would have noticed the difference in the first place. So
No.
it's some very simple ways to incorporate more fiber, more vegetables. You throw some spinach in that same pasta. You're not going to taste that spinach. You know what I
Mm.
mean, or whatever have you. So it's some ways that you can get these things in your diet on a regular basis. And we're talking about, a big bag of spinach is $2, for example, and people think they're eating healthy. You don't want iceberg lettuce. You want spinach or dark green
Yeah.
leafy vegetables in your salads, for example. So I
Dark
went a
and
little bit all
leafy.
over the place, but still, like, you got to make wise decisions when you can and try to incorporate fiber and vegetables in each meal if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I hear fiber, the first thing that pops in my head is apples.
Okay. Apples are very healthy. The skin of the apples is where the majority of the fiber is, and a
Okay.
lot of other beneficial flavonoid, a lot of other beneficial items are in the skin of an apple as well.
Mm-hmm.
So apple is one of the more healthier fruits that you can eat. To tell you the truth, the darker the red,
Yeah.
is a very, very healthy fruit. You should try to eat
Yeah.
those by all means. I'm a big blueberry guy. I eat a lot of blueberries for breakfast. To tell you the
Ooh.
truth, yeah. So I eat those pretty much. But after that, I eat a lot of apples and a lot of mangoes and grapes.
Mm.
Big
I eat
time.
a lot of grapes.
Yeah, which
Grapes
aren't
will
the
keep you
greatest,
hydrated too.
yeah, which aren't the best fruit, but they're it's better than not having fruit in your diet.
Yeah.
I'm not a big juicer. I'm not a big smoothie person.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of juicing, I think of the old school juicer that your mom had. You push down,
Yes.
and you only got the juice, and you kept the skin off. I don't. That just takes the sugar and put it in water, and that's not the healthiest thing for you.
Yeah.
A smoothie is a little better. It's going to keep that blended pulp and that entire fruit in there. But anytime I don't ever recommend high sugar in the diet.
No.
So unless you're going to immediately go work out after consuming, you're going to do a high intensity workout after consuming that smoothie, or you just completed a high intensity workout,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to consume some you know, carbohydrate in that form, or
Okay.
during activity. I'm not really a big advocate unless it's
On the
before, during,
sugar.
or after high intensity activity.
Okay. You
Yeah.
mentioned high intensity workout. Let's talk. We talked a lot about nutrition. Let's talk about working out and the exercise. So, if I made my information may be outdated, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I know a few years ago the recommendation was that you get 150 minutes a week of moderate to intense exercise. Is that, generally speaking, still the recommendation?
So that recommendation is for general health for the general population.
Okay.
150 minutes a week of moderate to intense physical activity. So a brisk walk for 150 minutes a week. That's a great recommendation for someone who's just starting exercise, or someone who's a little bit older starting exercise, or wants to maintain late in life. For
Okay.
young people like yourself, who, way younger than me, for young people like yourself, you should be exercising several times per week at the gym. You should incorporate resistance training as
Yeah.
well as aerobic endurance training into your regimen. And
Mm-hmm.
it does not have to be an hour, 2 hours at the gym. It just does not have to be that. You
Right.
know, 3 days a week for 25 minutes of weightlifting, and maybe 3 days a week for 25 minutes of cardio.
Okay.
And those are nice, simple starting points for exercising and resistance training in your life. And it's not beating you over the head. It's not taking an extensive amount of time.
Right.
Work that into you. And it doesn't have to be back-breaking. I'm not saying anything like that nature. But the benefits of physical activity, of exercise, as well as resistance training, endurance exercise and resistance training on your muscle and cardiovascular system has been studied profusely. And we know for a fact that they have extended benefits, not only for now, but throughout the lifetime, especially in females and women like yourself, to prevent injuries later on in life,
Yes.
to make activities of daily living a lot easier, to allow you to
Yes.
be independent and on your own as an older adult. Those benefits are there. We know this for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
The heart health and things of that nature, the assistance with blood pressure and cholesterol potentially from different types of training. You know, so we know these things are highly beneficial, and when you incorporate a nice diet along with them, you really are on the right path and the right track, and that's really what you want to do. But you want to incorporate that physical activity,
Yeah.
and don't avoid it. Don't avoid it.
Yeah, that's part of my you mentioned resistance training. So, when I finished chemotherapy, there's like when you have breast cancer and it's hormone receptor positive, there's some like ongoing treatments that's happening behind the scenes. But my oncologist is really good about, he'll prescribe, obviously he's an oncologist, but he also is like this vitamin and this activity. And one of my care treatment activities is to lift weights.
Yeah.
And when I go in to see him every 6 months now, because I've graduated to 6 months,
Okay. Right
I
on.
gotta see him every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Amen. He's like, "You still lifting weights?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yep." So like, even all the way, like as a healthy adult, or a adult who is a cancer survivor, my oncologist is like, "You got to hit them weights."
Yeah.
He's
Oh
like, the
yeah.
walking is cool, but I need you to hit those weights for your bone health, for your
Yep.
overall health, your resiliency, and for my overall survivorship. He wants me lifting weights. And I'm like, shoot, if my oncologist said it, it must be something to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And it's definitely right. You got a good oncologist, so I respect that.
Mhm.
Because, I don't like individuals, especially practicing physicians, who just throw drugs at a situation without trying to promote or enforce lifestyle change. And I know it can get a little bit discouraging as a practicing physician, because individuals don't want to change their lifestyle. They don't want to change their habits. So it can get
Nope.
frustrating to encourage individuals to make these types of changes. But if they're going to listen to anybody, they're going to listen to you as a physician.
Yeah.
So you got to sit here and take the time as a physician to make sure you're trying to encourage those lifestyle changes. And part of what we do as exercise physiologists, we train individuals so they have an understanding of exercise testing and prescription for individuals with special
Yeah.
conditions and special populations, as we call them. And one of those populations is cancer. So we
Yeah.
teach them resistance training, because you can't train everybody the same way. You can't train somebody with osteoporosis or cancer
Right.
or heart disease the same way I would train somebody who is a normal, healthy population individual.
Yeah.
You can't train them the same way with endurance training or resistance training. You have to
Yeah.
understand the nuances of that particular population.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and overload a lady with high weights and she has osteoporosis, for
Yeah.
example. You have to have that understanding and that scientific understanding of what you can and cannot do in these different population groups. So that's the
Yeah.
type of education that we give the students here with that exercise science, that exercise physiology background that we were talking about. So he or she can train you appropriately based on your condition and
Yeah.
make you reach your goals and outcomes, and track you
Mhm.
over time and make sure adjustments to weights are appropriate and technique is appropriate. They understand
Yeah.
any comorbidities you may have, how that may impact your training and things of that nature. So,
Yeah.
so it's very important to incorporate. Regardless of what conditions you may have, pregnant, anything,
All of
continue
it.
to do all these things. Yes, yes, very much so.
And it makes a difference. It can be it's not just having a snatched waist, right? Or abs. It is really life-changing to exercise and eat right. And going back to my oncologist, I just remembered when I was in chemo, when I started, I did two. I did the Red Devil, which is one of the strongest chemos you can have, the
Yeah,
AC. They call it the Red Devil. It's a bad boy.
yeah,
Um, and then I did Taxol. Now, the Red Devil I did four of over, I think, 8 weeks. I went every 2 weeks. But
mhm,
then when I did the Taxol, it was like a little week break, and I was supposed to do it for 12 weeks, right? And it was like, you're going to come weekly for 12 weeks for this second kind of chemo. But when I was in chemo, I walked. It was the summer, and I walked every single day. Even
mhm,
when I didn't want to, my friends would come
yeah,
and get me at 7 in the morning before work,
yeah,
make me walk, and I would walk miles every day. Bones hurt, whatever. By the time I finished the Red Devil, my oncologist was like, you are doing so good. I'm going to let you do the Taxol in 4 treatments instead of doing weekly over 12. So
yes,
me walking, I was walking every day. I was drinking a gallon of water a day, which was only because I was in chemo, and
mhm,
one Gatorade a day. And then
mhm,
obviously my blackberries. I eat a lot of berries anyway,
yeah,
but all of those things combined impacted my cancer journey,
yeah,
like in a
yeah,
very real way. It wasn't a theory. It was like, okay. And he had never done that before. He was
yeah.
like, this is another protocol that we can use, but most people are not healthy enough to do it in 4.
There you
But
go.
since you walk every day and you eat your berries,
There you go. And a big part of what he just said there, most people aren't healthy enough.
mm-mm.
So you took care of yourself and it paid off for you. Unfortunately, you had to go through that. I'm ecstatic that you had those type of friends who are that loyal to you, to come to you every day and make sure you see you through that journey, because it takes that too, right?
Yep.
Having that assistance, that encouragement, or whatever have you, having a system in place. And that's what we got to get people to understand. You got to have a system in place to be healthy, you
Yes.
know, because it will pay off in the long run. And we said several things here. We said meal prepping. And people always ask, how do you meal prep? How do you meal prep? I'm a single guy living at home. It's just my son and I. And I go to the Kroger and I get 3 pounds of chicken breasts, and I cut it in half, and I season them
Yeah.
and put a little olive oil on them. I put them in the air fryer, and then I get some fiber pasta,
Ooh.
and I put it in a pot and I boil the pasta, and
Mm-hmm.
put a little marinara sauce on it, and then I get some spinach and I put it in a pan. And
Yeah.
I chop up some garlic, or maybe get some garlic powder or whatever with a little lemon pepper, spray it with olive oil, and saute it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got, and then I got containers, and I put a little chicken in each
Yep.
one, and
Gotta have
a
the
little fish in
containers.
each one, and put a little pasta in each one. Now I got lunch for the next 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
you know. And it's healthy. And I know I got vegetable in every lunch. I know I got fiber in every lunch, and I know I got some protein in every lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I usually go have lunch at 1 o'clock, and I go lift weights around 3:30. And so I have protein for breakfast throughout the day, fiber throughout the day. So I have a plan, is what I'm trying to say. I try to
Yes.
live healthy, and things of that nature. And it actually saves me time, and people think, well, meal prepping, no, it saves me time because I'm not cooking lunch every day. I'm not going
Right.
standing in line for lunch to buy something unhealthy. So now it's benefiting my pockets because that entire meal I just talked about where I had lunch all week,
Yep.
that 2 pounds, 3 pounds of chicken was probably about $10. That spinach
Yep.
bag was about $3, and the pasta was about $3. It's $16
Mm-hmm.
for the week, and that's one meal. That's Monday.
Yep.
If I go over here to Steak and Shake or Chipotle,
Yep.
and
Even
so
the salad at Chick-fil-A is $10 now. I
yeah,
went the other day and I was like, 10.17. I was like, what happened? What?
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, I
yeah,
lettuce at home.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. And I mean, I got a 21 pack of water, 24
Yeah.
pack of water. I mean, it's $4.99. So I don't go and buy bottled waters or whatever have you for $2.50. It actually
Yeah.
saves money, saves time, and it saves your health. Most important.
It does. Speaking of water, I always have me a jar of water.
Yeah,
I love a water container that has the ounces on it. So
mm-hmm.
like I can know how much I took in.
Uh-huh.
Um so whether it's a water bottle or a jar, water is something, in my opinion, that people don't drink enough of. And it's like it impacts everything, your skin, your hair, your joints, your organs. I mean,
Yeah,
from head to toe.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're 60% water. You are, that's what you are as a human being. Your cells are highly made of water. Your blood obviously is highly fluid. So I mean, interstitial fluid and everything else. I mean, you are water.
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean, it's very important that you have adequate water intake. It's the medium for all the reactions that take place in your body for energy production and things of that nature. So it's very, very important that you stay hydrated and that
Yeah.
you have adequate hydration. You probably heard this old adage plenty of times. You can go 30 days without food, but you can only go 3 days without water. That's how
Yep.
important water is to you. And you start to notice the impacts of dehydration very quickly, especially if you're an athlete or if you're performing. You'll
Oh
notice
yeah.
a significant decrement in performance in no time if you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
But also you talking about being sluggish on the cruise or on vacation earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It could be also have to do with that hydration intake change as
Right.
well. At the end of the day, so it's going to have an impact on you significantly. So adequate hydration, and it's not any magical number of water, how much water you need per day.
Yeah.
People throw out baseline numbers because that's the best guesstimate. About how much water you need per day, and generally speaking, you can't take in too much. Now you can take in too much in reality, but to do that,
Yeah.
you have to take in a lot of water in a single amount of time and quickly. But I mean, you would say if you were doing a gallon a day, and a lot of people will stay right around between half a gallon and a gallon a day is adequate for most people, and I'm in agreement with that. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, I try to get half a gallon of 64 ounces, and you're not only getting water from water itself, right? If you
Yes.
take in other sources of non-sugary water, some of the foods that you eat, they also provide water as well.
Right.
At the end of the day, I try to drink about 3 of these a day. I usually do better. I got a water bottle, but here in my office, I keep
Yeah.
these for emergency purposes, and make sure they hit the recycle bin, and BPA,
Right.
you
Save
know,
the planet.
save the planet, or whatever happens. So,
So we talked about the importance of exercise. We talked about the importance of nutrition, water, and you mentioned. I want to circle back to something that you mentioned before we wrap up. You mentioned that Black or African American people are not as involved, or we don't participate as much in the research.
hmm
And as a public health person, I understand how important that is. As a
yeah,
Black person, I understand Black people are still pissed off about the syphilis and Henrietta Lacks, or the
yeah,
syphilis experiment and Henrietta Lacks.
yeah.
What do you think can be done for us to strike that balance of not being like, oh, just get over the syphilis experiment, and yeah, we really should be participating in research studies because there's no data. There's not enough data on us. What are your thoughts on that, or how we could better engage the Black community?
I think that a lot of companies, and pharmaceutical companies and things like that could do a better job of hiring people that are qualified, that look like you and I, to go into our communities. Because when I walk into a community and I am myself and who I genuinely am, being from the east side of Cleveland, Warrensville Heights, Ohio, you know, I can relate to those individuals. I walk in there and they see me, they say, "Oh, that brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay," you know, and I think that I can gain their trust. I can speak to them where they come from, and I understand their level of distrust that they have in healthcare and
Right.
in the scientific community. I can understand that. I grew up learning about that, and I understand, and I still learn about it to this day. So I can
Yeah.
understand why you feel about the Tuskegee experience, why Henrietta Lacks and everything else. I can understand why you feel that way. But I can also explain to them the benefits, of participating in research. I can talk to them on their level. I come from where they come from. So
Mm-hmm.
having individuals who are like you and I in the community, I think is vitally important, to make some of these changes and lead to increased participation rates and to
Right.
bridge that trust, between the community and pharmaceutical companies, for example. You can get in there and speak to people and speak to the people. And then I can take it back up the chain and then speak for the people,
Yeah.
as well, to that pharmaceutical company about what they need and communicate that clearly,
Yeah.
to that company as well. So it's a nice two-way conduit, and I think you need more people like that. I think that's a start. I wouldn't have all the answers, but I definitely think that's a start.
Yeah.
People coming into the community, you gotta always tell people, if you go to the bank, you can't make a withdrawal until you make a deposit.
That's a fact.
And so you got to go in there and people got to make deposits before you make withdrawals, and
Mm-hmm.
you got to find a way to people to bring your trust, and that takes time, and that's in any relationship that you have, and that takes time. So you got to build that trust, and I think having the right people speaking for you, having people who are going to advocate both ways, it's not a one-way
Yeah.
street. Having people who are going to listen and things of that nature. I think that's vitally important, especially in our community, because we want
Right.
people who can advocate for us and understand us, and who can speak to the higher ups, and who can take what someone is saying that may not know medicine and may not
Yeah.
know health, but and convert what they say because they make sense. They know what the hell they're talking about because they're not speaking a certain way.
Right.
People may not take them as serious, and I can translate that to
Yes.
what they need to hear over here, and be that translator, that conduit, like I said, in between these different sides.
Yes. That translation is so important. And that's a good point. So you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Sure, sure.
They're not gonna be too hard.
No,
They're
no.
not
I
gonna
mean,
You
I'm ready for
ready?
this. It's okay.
You
Yeah,
ready? You was made for this?
yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
I stand in front of 20-year-olds and 20 to 25-year-olds and teach class all day. I get a lot of questions about random topics all the time. So,
Oh, they be on your case, shooting off the questions.
yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll ask questions especially if
That's
it's something that
funny.
they feel is relevant to them or their family. They'll ask some questions for
Well,
sure.
these are going to be easy then compared to what some 20-year-olds are asking you. And the first one for you is, what does wellness mean to you?
It's just an overall holistic state to me of where your body is working towards functioning optimally. You know, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You
Yes.
know, it's just an overall state of you, your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, whatever you may believe in, trying to function optimally and feeding it so it can do so. And that's what wellness means to
Okay. And why is Black health literacy important?
me. Because for this is not a rapid fire question, first of all, because this is going to something that's going to take me off the tangent, and
Take off then. We got time.
but I mean, why is Black health literacy important? So we can make informed decisions about our health, so we can have a healthy community, so we can have a safe community, so we can have longevity and be here and be around for our family and for generations, and we can pass this information on to the next generation so they can carry it on and leave and carry on the legacy of who you are and your family's legacy or whatever have you. It's just very important for our community overall to have a healthy, functioning community.
Yeah.
To make sure we don't see the same, higher rates of death during pregnancy and shorter lifespans and all these higher rates of diabetes and higher rates of HIV. But no, this is why it's important, so we can see improvements, and we can be the best versions of ourselves. And we can do things about prevention and improve outcomes for ourselves, because you need the community. The community has to be strong. We got to do what we can to maintain a strong, powerful Black community. It's very, very important. It's vital to our youth. It's vital to our communities. It's vital to the earth. Period.
It is.
Point.
It is. It is. It really is. I love that answer. And then last but not least, if people want to follow you, you gave a quick short version of all the work and bio of you're doing in your bio, but I know you're doing so much more. Where can people find you, your research, your teachings? How do people follow you?
I'm an old man, Rachel, so I don't have social media.
It don't have to be social. It could be a website or email.
I got a Facebook page that I check once a year. But and that's my birthday, and I got to be better about that, for example. But I do have a LinkedIn, Jason White, and I also do have an email. And individuals here at the university want to speak to me through that. My email is white, to like the color, J4, the number 4, the number 7, white J47,
Okay.
at nku.edu. And that is my private work email, and I answer 50 to 100 emails per day on that email between students and committees and research and colleagues and curriculum and things of that nature. I answer a lot of emails on a daily basis on that. But I mean, and communicate with individuals who have questions or individuals I collaborate with, or Olympic rowers or whatever have you. So by all means, for individuals who want to reach out or have more questions or whatever have you, I can maybe point them in the right direction or interested in more about exercise science, nutrition, or whatever have you. That's where you can reach me at whitej47 at nku.edu. Fortunately, no Instagram, no Twitter or anything of that nature. I'm a private person, but that's just not for me.
I feel it. I feel it. Well, thank you so much. I am going to put your contact information in the show notes so people can find you. And if they just want to follow your work that you're doing. And I thank you so much for sharing your expertise. I thank you for being a Black man representing in the STEM space, the academic space. Keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing and keep inspiring the next generation, because we do need more representation in STEM and academia.
Definitely. No, thanks for having me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing here and trying to inform the community, and by all means, continue to do what you do. You're doing a great job at it, and I'm very proud of you. As somebody who's known you for a little bit now, I was very proud to watch you grow up and see some of the things that you're doing, and as I continue to age, I'm like I said, I'm old, but very happy to see the good work.
You're not old. And you literally have seen me grow up. I think at this point you've known me more than half my life.
Yeah. So watch you.
I think I was 18 and I'm 37 now. That's half my life. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Really order to you. All right. Well, thank you.